Olivia Hart was a beautiful bride with a haunting past. Marcus Delaney was the proud groom who thought he married the love of his life. But just hours after their fairy tale wedding, Olivia was found dead in a bathtub. At first, all eyes turned to Marcus and Tao. Investigators uncovered a hidden identity, a vanished ex-boyfriend, and a brother who had waited 5 years for revenge. This isn't just a murder story. This is the chilling tale of what really happened on the night Olivia's secrets came back to kill her. It was a warm autumn afternoon when Olivia Hart and Marcus Delaney tied the knot. The ceremony was held at a quaint countryside chapel surrounded by tall pine trees and vintage lanterns. Guests sat in rows of white chairs, the air filled with soft violin music and flower petals. Olivia wore an ivory lace gown passed down from her grandmother, while Marcus donned a tailored black tuxedo with a navy boutonniere. Everything seemed perfect. The setting, the smiles, the vows. Their love story had seemed like a fairy tale. Marcus met Olivia at a charity fundraiser just over a year earlier. She said she was a schoolteacher who had moved to the city for a fresh start. They connected quickly. By the 6th month, they were living together. Then a year they were planning their wedding. The reception was held at a rustic barn nearby, decorated with hanging lights and wooden tables. Speeches were made, champagne flowed, and the couple shared their first dance under a glowing chandelier. Guests laughed and took photos as the newlyweds kissed and cut their cake. The celebration lasted late into the night. After saying goodbye to their guests, Marcus and Olivia left in a restored white Jaguar. They headed to the honeymoon suite at Cedar Pine in an upscale countryside hotel known for its privacy. The suite was filled with rose petals, champagne, and candles. But by dawn, the romantic night turned into a nightmare. The bride was dead. The groom was a suspect. The fairy tale had become a chilling mystery. Police arrived just after 6 o'clock a.m. following a 911 call. The voice on the other end was Marcus. He said his wife was dead in the bathtub. When officers reached the suite, they found Marcus seated on the carpet outside the bathroom. Soaked in sweat, eyes vacant, his tucked shirt stained with water and something darker. Inside, Olivia's body lay in the tub. The water had turned a pale pink. Her skin was cold, her wedding veil still draped over her shoulders, floating like silk in the bloody bath. There were no signs of a break-in. The suite had only one entrance and a set of French windows that were locked from the inside. The room wasn't ransacked. Olivia's wedding ring was still on her finger, and all valuables were untouched. Her phone was on the nightstand beside. Marcus's detectives searched the suite inch by inch. The champagne bottle had been opened but was half full. 2 glasses sat on the table, one with lipstick marks. A trail of rose petals led from the bed to the bath, suggesting everything had been set up for an intimate evening. But something changed. Something snapped. The coroner's report later confirmed Olivia died between 3 o'clock and 4 a.m. The cause was a deep laceration to the neck, made with a sharp object. There were no defensive wounds, no sign she had struggled. It was as if she had been caught off guard or perhaps trusted the person who killed her. Investigators began reviewing surveillance footage. No one else was seen entering or leaving the hallway during those critical hours. The suite's door was never opened according to electronic keycard records, except when the couple entered. It all pointed to Marcus, but something felt off. He appeared genuinely shocked, not panicked or calculating. When detectives asked about Olivia's past, Marcus grew quiet. That silence set the tone for what would be one of the most unsettling discoveries of the investigation. The real turning point came when detectives combed through Olivia's personal suitcase. Hidden beneath layers of lingerie and makeup bags was a small, locked metal box. The key was found taped inside the hem of her gown. Inside the box was a stack of old documents, a prepaid burner phone, and several yellowing newspaper clippings. Name appeared repeatedly. Daniel Cross, a 27-year-old man reported missing 5 years earlier in another state. He was last seen leaving his apartment in the early morning and never returned. No body, no arrests, and no real suspects. But in a shocking twist, investigators discovered Olivia had once gone by another name, Lydia Carson. A legal name change was filed for years prior. That name was directly connected to Daniel Cross's missing person case. Lydia had filed a police report stating that Daniel had assaulted her. According to court documents, the case fell apart due to inconsistent testimony. Days after the charges were dropped, Daniel vanished. The documents in Olivia's box told a story no one at the wedding knew. They included Lydia's original ID, court transcripts, photos of Daniel with scratches on his face, and journal entries, describing her fear of him. But some entries seemed forced, as if written for someone else to read. A letter addressed to future me described her belief that Daniel was going to ruin her life, but it ended abruptly with no explanation. Detectives began to suspect that Marcus had found this box. If so, had it sparked an argument that escalated into murder? Or was someone else still chasing Lydia now, Olivia, from her past? On the third day after the murder, a tip came in from an anonymous woman. She claimed Marcus had received a letter just days before the wedding. The envelope contained 2 photographs, one of Olivia with Daniel and another showing the original court report with her name listed as Lydia Carson. The note inside read, "You're marrying a liar." The tip led investigators to question Marcus's behavior in the final week before the wedding. A florist reported that Marcus seemed cold and distracted when finalizing their order. A friend told police Marcus had called off their bachelor party without explanation. Detectives searched Marcus's home office and found remnants of a torn envelope in his paper shredder. Forensic reconstruction revealed the missing photographs, proof that he had in fact seen the contents of the letter. But he hadn't told anyone, not the police, not his family, not even Olivia. It was then that another connection emerged. Burner phone found in Olivia's suitcase had dialed one number just hours before her death. It belonged to Theo Blake, Daniel Cross's older brother, a man with no criminal record, but a long-standing grudge. A background check showed Theo had taken leave from his job 3 months prior. He had been living under the radar in a nearby town using a fake name. He'd been tracking Olivia ever since she changed her identity. His obsession with finding out what happened to Daniel had never faded. Investigators now had a second possible suspect, and this one had motive, means, and a hidden presence near the crime scene. Under intense pressure, Marcus eventually confessed to police that he had received the letter. He found Olivia's metal box while she was at her bachelorette weekend and read every document. He was shocked but said he couldn't confront her. He didn't want to believe it. He decided to go through with the wedding, unsure whether she had truly done something wrong or had simply survived something traumatic. But Olivia had also received a message from Theo that night. The call from the burner phone lasted 2 minutes. Cell tower data showed Theo was within a mile of the Cedar Pine Inn at the time of the call. Detectives reviewed security footage again. They finally noticed something odd. Around 2:30 a.m., a staff member passed by the honeymoon suite and noticed the window was slightly cracked open. It had not been open earlier in the night. Forensics returned with a chilling grist. Partial print from the inner frame of the window matched Theo Blake. Investigators also found a strand of dark hair stuck in the latch, which did not belong to either Marcus or Olivia. Faced with mounting evidence, Theo was arrested. He initially denied everything, but once the evidence was presented, he broke. He admitted entering the suite through the window while Marcus was in the shower. He claimed he only wanted Olivia to confess to what really happened to Daniel. But when she refused, he snapped. Theo had brought a knife. He approached her while she was in the bathtub. He said she laughed at him, something the prosecution believed he invented. In a flash, he cut her throat and fled the same way he entered. Marcus discovered Olivia minutes later. In shock, he tried to lift her from the tub, but the scene overwhelmed him. He sat in silence for nearly an hour before calling police, terrified, guilty, and broken. Theo Blake was sentenced to life in prison. The case left the nation stunned. A perfect wedding torn apart by secrets. Bride hiding a second identity. Groom forced to bury his wife before their honeymoon began. And a brother who let grief turn to murder, all because of a secret buried in a metal box.